Alright, so this video is over. This is test read for the inverses. So we did the worksheet. Most of y'all did pretty good. Some of y'all did not. Um, mainly because you don't watch the videos. So if you're watching the video, you pretty much don't need any help. So tell your friends that, hey, watching the videos work. If not, they're going to fail the class. Alright. So inverses. This is going to be inverses for the test. There's like 5 questions on inverses. So we need to make sure we know how to do inverses. Okay. So again, inverses. If we have a function, function f, right? It doesn't matter what it is, as long we say it's f. So negative 3, 0, 3, and 6. Let's say that's 5, 0, negative 5, and negative 10. Okay. The inverse of it. We don't even need to graph this, right? Because when we graph it, we just reflect it over the y is equal to x axis to get the f inverse. But we don't even have to do that, because when you reflect over the y is equal to x line, all you're really doing is just switching your x and y's. Okay. So that just means that your input of your f function becomes your output of your inverse, and your output of your f function becomes the input of your inverse. Okay, so it's 5, 0, negative 5, negative 10, negative 3, 0, 3, and 6. Okay, so all you're going to be doing is just switching them. That's all you have to do. Okay, so don't get confused. You don't always have to draw the line to know where the inverses are at. You just switch the points. Okay, it's nothing too confusing. You've been doing inverses your whole algebra life, and pretty much your whole life as well. So anytime you're going back to your original point, your starting position, you are doing an inverse. Okay? So you just need to know that you have to switch your x and y points. So if we give you a graph, let's say, alright, hopefully I can draw better this time. Nope, not really. Alright, so we have, I don't know, let's draw a zigzag, I guess. There's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright. So let's say we have this function or this graph. It goes, let's see. Oops. Come on now. Alright, it does this. Okay. So we need to find the inverse. So if this is our f function, we need to find our f inverse. So the way we do this again is by just reflecting it over the y is equal to x line. So that just means again that we have to switch our points. So this point is negative 3 comma 3, right? So this point is negative 3 comma 3. So our f inverse is going to be 3 comma negative 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's our first point. This point is negative 1 comma 2. So that just means our inverse is going to be 2 comma negative 1. So 2 comma negative 1. And then the last point, this is negative 3 comma 1. So that means our last point, our inverse, is going to be 1 comma negative 3. So 1 comma negative 3 is here. Connect the dots. There goes our inverse. So again, like I showed most of y'all in class, if you put a mirror right on this line, and you look at the reflection, the position is going to be the exact place where this is at. Okay, same exact spot. So it works out. Okay, But the main thing you need to know when you're graphing it is you need to switch your x and y values. Okay, so that's what an inverse means. You have to your domain of your original function is your range or output of your inverse. Your range or your output of the regular function is your input or domain of the inverse. Okay, everything switches. So now, we're finding the inverse of equations, right? So if you are given an equation, let's say y is equal to 3x plus 4. Okay, the fastest way or the algebraic way is you have to switch your x and y's. Just like we switch our points, x and y's, we're going to switch our letters here, our variables as well. So then this becomes x is equal to 3y plus 4. Okay, once you do this, all you have to do is solve for y. So let's solve for y. So we want to get y by itself. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to get rid of the 4. So it's minus 4 minus 4. So we end up with x minus 4 is equal to 3y. So now we want to get rid of the 3. The 3 is multiplying the y. So opposite of multiplication is division. So you divide this side by 3. So you also have to divide this side by 3. Okay. So our inverse is going to be x minus 3 divided by 3. The other way we did it, like we talked about it, is the verbal way, doing the opposite. So again, we have y is equal to 3x plus 4. So our first step, how is x changing first? Well, the first thing that's happening to x, or that's changing x, is to 3. So first we are multiplying by 3. Once we multiply 3, we are adding 4. Okay. Now to do the inverse, we need to work backwards. Alright, doing the opposite steps. So we start off with x. So we have to work backwards. So step 2 becomes our step 1. So what is the opposite of adding 4? The opposite of adding 4. My bad, I made a mistake here. Hopefully y'all saw that. So the opposite of adding 4 is subtracting 4. Okay? The opposite of multiplying 3 is dividing by 3. And there goes your inverse. So we got the exact same answer doing it 2 different ways. Okay? Again, that's the beautiful thing about mathematics. You can do things pretty much several different ways and always end up with the same answer. Okay? So we're going to do one more. We're going to do one more example. All right, let's do a square root problem. So say y is equal to the square root of x minus 4. Okay, let's find the inverse. So our inverse. So again, first step is to switch. So x is equal to the square root of y minus 4. Okay. So you need to remember the opposite of a square root is a square. So you need to square both sides. So we square both sides. So we square this side and we square this side. Okay. X squared is just, x squared is just x squared. The square and the square root cancel out. So you're left with y minus 4. So now you have to get rid of the minus 4. The opposite of minus 4 is a plus 4. So you do what you do to one side, you do to the other. So x squared plus 4 is equal to y. So this is our inverse. So now let's do the verbal way. Okay. So the first thing we're changing x is we are subtracting 4. We're not taking the square root of it. We're changing first. So imagine like there's a little parenthesis in here, and you have to remember PEMDAS, right? First things first is do the parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication, division, and addition, subtraction. So the first thing we are doing is subtracting 4. The second thing we are doing is we're taking the square root of it. So working backwards to find the inverse, make sure we do the opposite. So can we start off with x? So what is opposite of a square root? Opposite of a square root is a square. So we square the x. Opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So we add 4. And that's it. We got the exact same thing. Okay? Simple as that. So guys, inverses, if you want more examples to practice on, just give me a text. And that's pretty much it. So again, test is going to be Monday and Tuesday. Monday for B periods and Tuesday for A periods. So just give me a call or just text me or just send me a message through Edmodo. That's pretty much it. Have a good weekend, guys.